profound. I was looking at something in a different way. It was almost like, fine tuning. It's like, it's a little turn, it's a little twist, it's a little piece. It's like, I hadn't thought of that before. So it's very, very powerful. It's unusual that someone will, jump in and then a week later they, that same first time, will you speak? Yes. Tom Coons, he and I travel around the country. He's past president of Century 21, largest real estate franchise in the world. And he had a natural law that actually addresses that we can give to our kids. So, being blessed to have 7 children, my oldest daughter, she's been married now for 6 years. She's blessed my wife and I with 2 amazing grandsons. And they say that the brain of a man changes when he becomes a grandfather. Chemically, you take a picture and then afterwards you take another, they're different. And I get that. I totally get that. I understand it is not about you, Mark. And it's not even about your wife and your kids. It's something of a legacy far beyond it. And so, how do we accomplish our life vision? Well, we need to have an engine. There's a solar system, bodily system, everything system. When you look at the universe, it's a system. But as business owners, we don't have systems. We need a boss system. It's the engine that runs our business. We earn the money we earn. We work the hours we work. We have the stress we do or don't have because of that engine in that business. And so if we want to double our income, if we want to reduce the number of hours we're working, if we want to really do the things that we're passionate about, take that passion circle and say, would I be liking to do more of those things? We have to have an engine. If we don't, we're going to end up owning a job, not a company. So everybody wants to go ahead and start their own company, and they don't recognize that's not going to go so well for you. You're going to end up owning a job. You will. If we don't have a business operating system. There's 3 ingredients to our business operating system. There's the DNA for people, DNA for business, DNA for life. So it's a system for people. How do we understand people really, really fast? The DNA for business is the 530 grid, and so it's the science behind how to run a business. Any business, it doesn't matter what it is. And then the DNA for life, natural laws. There's over 250 natural laws. My 25-year-old son came up to me when he was 9. He said, Dad, he said, I discovered a new natural law. I'm like, that is so awesome. Well, what is it, buddy? And he said, it's the domino principle. I'm like, cool. What does that mean? He's like, Dad, like I'm an idiot. He's like, Dad, you stack up dominoes. And when you go ahead and knock one over, they all knock over. I'm like, cool. He's like, well, that's like in life, Dad. You make a bad choice and there's bad consequences. Whoa. A 9-year-old. And so there's all kinds of natural laws. Tom Coons said that his grandfather said to him, we call this the Graham-Bishop-Pell principle in honor of Tom's grandfather. And he went ahead and said that when Tom was a teenager, his grandfather said to him, he said, Tom, he said, the things that I'm sharing with you right now probably won't make any sense to you. But I would encourage you to write it down because it will later. I'm like, that is golden. That is golden. And so so as you get deeper into this, you get overwhelmed. You're like, oh, this is so complicated. I can't keep up with this. It's not. Can you handle 3 things? Okay? 3 things. Always go back. DNA for people, DNA for business, DNA for life. Now, if you want to learn everything that's underneath all of this, you are free to do so. Personally, I'd recommend getting somebody else to do that because it'll take a long time. There's 4 pieces or 4 types of personalities, and we're going to be going into those today as it relates to fine-tuning our systems. And then there's DNA for business, the 530 grid. There's 5 areas: marketing, pre-sales, sales, servicing, and client for life. And then there's 3 energies in DNA for life. It's see, think, and do. And so we're going to have John come up and talk about the 530 grid. Nope. Sorry. We are going to have Wendy come up.
I could go first.
And nope.
Totally out of order.
Wendy's going to come up and talk about personality mastery and DNA for people. Let's give it up for Wendy.
I'm going to stick with the cold topic. I don't know if that's a theme because it's been so cold, but you know, ice fishing, my little story today is going to be about the cold too. So how can we fine tune our relationships? If you were to identify somebody's personality in 15 seconds, would you be willing to do that? Show of raise hands. Okay, all right, good. So, does it seem like something that would be too good to be true? Maybe it is, but what do you have to lose by giving them 15 seconds? Pretty much nothing, right? And by doing that, you have the potential to gain greater relationships. So if we were to just ask 2 simple questions to better understand somebody by the way that they just naturally are. What are their gifts? What are their strengths? And what are their weaknesses? What are they good at what they do? Why are they good at what they do? What are their challenges because of their personality? And how best can you help them and potentially in turn help yourself just by these 2 simple questions? And these are the 2 questions. Thank you, assistant. So the questions are based on shapes and a frustration level question. And if you want to just reference, just so you can see this on your take home, this is also going to be for you to take home on box 10 so you can look at it. And then you have the questions for yourself for later as well. So, I'm a lefty, so hopefully you can kind of see through me here. So everybody understands or has heard the concept of a iceberg, right? Where you see how much of it looks like it is on the surface, and then there's the water level, and then underneath is something really gigantic. That's mind-blowing, right? So if you think about, here's the iceberg, here's our water, and then underneath is something so much bigger than what's on the top. So what I'm going to try to explain is what you see in an individual can be something completely chaotic going on underneath. So if we're going to look at first a cube, which is the analytical thinker, they are happy when things are in order. They like lists. And this is all what keeps the analytical mind happy, and this is their process. They like things done the right way. The right way could be, again, a procedure, or potentially it could be their way. Their way could be the right way. And attention to detail. This actually is mostly me. So I live in this world. So now what happens down here is our greatest strengths also are our greatest weaknesses just misapplied. So what happens, like for example for me, my biggest challenge is procrastination. This makes my world crazy. I create this world, and I can talk more about this one than all the rest, because when I'm overwhelmed, this just gets bigger and bigger, and then that makes my world worse. So if you're working with somebody that is an analytical and you see chaos, you know this is how you can help them get back into where they're great and where they're right. Does that make sense? Okay. And they have a harder time moving forward because if they don't feel like things are being done the right way, then they get stuck. Oh, I can't move forward. It's not going to be perfect. I can't go. I'm going to be stuck here. And it almost feels good to be stuck because then, I don't really know how to explain it. It just kind of feels good. And then they're less assertive as well. So this is what happens, and how, if you understand by doing these questions for yourself, asking these questions of other people, again, like I said, if you see somebody that you recognize as an analytical and they get into this world, you can easily try and help them by getting them back into things that work for them. Also, I'm just touching on each one of these pointers. Each one of these quadrants individually, but it's really a lot bigger than that. You're not just, I'm not just an analytical. I'm an analytical and a driver and an expressive and an amiable. But my combination is totally different than yours, Megan, and yours, Jesus. So I'm just touching on just the tip of the iceberg for this conversation. Anybody else? An analytical? The thinking theory? Just me?
No.
Okay. Am I doing okay on time?
Yes.
Okay. So now the pyramid, that person is also called a driver. They like to see the big picture. They want to know what the bottom line is. They like to work fast. They want to get things done. So they want to see that they want to see accomplishment. They don't want to dilly-dally. They don't want to be like the analytical and think and think and think and think, because that just drives them crazy. So they want to be able to see things come to fruition. So they want to have their accomplishments done. But when a driver gets a little in here in the chaos, what they can do when they are a little more out of their comfort zone is they have a tendency to push through because they want it to get done fast. So in that process, they don't care if that means that hurts you, because I have to get this task done. They're not thinking about what's happening on the other side. They just have to get the task done. So through the process of that, there's potential that they could be hurting people during that. And they really don't care, because to them, this is the objective. It's not, the people isn't the biggest concern for them. So it's just the accomplishment, getting it done. And it can be a little bit overly aggressive. And it can be a little bit on the pushy side. Anybody feel that they fall into this pyramid? Yeah? Okay. Anybody afraid to say that they're a pyramid?
Can you make apple pyramid?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was saying. There's 65,000 plus different combinations of personalities when you incorporate both of these questions together. So that's what I meant. Like, I am just giving you just a teeny little tiny, like if I was 100% analytical, 100%, I mean, it's just not possible. You have to have some personality, and you live in like a tree or something to be one type of personality. There's also a system to when you're asking the questions that you do them in a specific order every time as well. And the pointer is showing you that. So when you ask somebody these questions, you're gonna ask them, which shape do you like the best? And then you'll say cube, pyramid, wavy line, ball. And then whichever one they say, then you still go back to the beginning and do the same rotation around, and the same with these 4 questions. Does that make sense? Okay, so now we're on the wavy line. Wavy line is a expressive type of personality, and when the wavy line is in their great feeling mode, they like fun, love fun. They love energy, things that are exciting, things that are new. So they're okay with change and difference. But when they're in their chaotic world, they have a hard time with follow through, because they're always looking for new and fun and exciting. So then it just gets more amplified. You know, they're just looking for something new and aren't really going to get kind of focused in on sticking with that. So probably good to work with, you know, a driver that can say, let's get this done, you know. So again, understanding different personalities may help people in your office, pairing different people up. So pairing up 2 expressive probably not going to get as much work done, right?
But there will be a party.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Nothing wrong with that.
So lots of fun, not as much accomplishment. So that's another way that using this tool, you'd be able to pair people together, so actually things can be accomplished at certain paces and, you know, still helping people enjoy what they do. And when the expressive personality is really high, they are so high. They're so happy, energy, everybody wants to be around them. But the opposite is true as well. When they're low, they're really low, and you probably are like, who is that person? I don't know you, and I don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more expressives in the room?
I think so.
1, 2, 3. You were kind of nodding over there.
Oh,
A little bit?
Half and half, I think.
Okay. Getting a little less Brady and a little more talky. Okay, so the very last personality based on shape that we can hopefully fine tune here is what we call the ball. This is the amiable personality. And this person, when they're living in their perfect world, has just an amazing compassion for people. They love to be around people. People are their world. That's what they think about. Sometimes they even think about what other people, like how can I make sure that these people are okay and I want all my group to be okay. And that's, if they could live in that, they would just always be in the heavens. That'd be great for them. So they love to help people. Getting along with others is really important, especially their core group, getting along. And they actually like to be around big groups as well. When they are being challenged, they can be taken advantage of. Okay, you have to share if you're going to giggle.
You are describing her to a Z.
For sure.
You are describing her to a Z. It's like you are just talking to her right now. Sorry, Michelle.
I know, that is me, I will admit.
We just had this conversation.
20%.
Okay, here's another good one.
Today.
And out of all 4 of the shape personalities that I'm describing, they are the most stubborn, which you wouldn't think, but they are. They also avoid having conflicts with other people. Like I said, like this is where they like to live. People are their thing, so having to be in a situation where they have to have a conflict is going to probably almost destroy them. They don't want to get into conflict situations. So if you're working with somebody that's an amiable and you know that's going to be a conflict, that they don't want to have those conversations, helping somebody through that is going to really, really be an advantage, especially in the workplace. And they can also be a little bit better at times. Okay, so like I said, out of the shapes, this was just a tip of the iceberg of how, if you understood what your personality is, and we know Rochelle does, that you can really start to, I think, make your life better by helping other people. So again, it just all really becomes so full circle if you could just take 15 seconds and ask two questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How would the sphere and the wave work together?
The wavy line.
Yeah.
And
I'd call it
The
wave
ball?
and- Yeah, and the ball and wave. How would they work together? What would you think?
Okay, what is your challenge with those two people working together?
Well, I know that you said that you wouldn't like put together the cubes, like, you know what I mean? Or,
No, I think what I was saying is if everybody was, like, if I was like just 100% analytical, which there's
Okay.
actually no way that that would be possible because we're all a mixture of everything. So you, even if you are mostly expressive, you still have some of this and some of this and some of this.
yeah.
Does that help?
Yep.
Because we're all still a little bit of everything.
So what we can do, because we've got so much to go over,
Okay.
thank you
Sure.
very much. Yeah.